Lockdown, day 58. Um, I am excited to bring to you today Alicia Elspeth Stallings, her poetry. I always see her as A.E. Stallings whenever I look her up on the internet, but that's her first name, Alicia Stallings. This is another poet who I came into contact through my students. So I just want to give another big shout out to my students. Um, we do this project called the Poetry Synthesis Project, where students will actually choose one poet and they study that poet for a whole month. And then they create all these different genre pieces in response to that poet, and also do analysis and study of that poet's work. And two of my students did just tremendous synthesis essays on this poet, A.E. Stallings, and just made me a fan. So I really, really love her work. And one of the things that really is fascinating about this poet is Stallings is someone who's very attractive to received forms, what some people would consider traditional forms. This one is, if I'm reading it right, it's a ballad meter. It rhymes. Poetry can still rhyme and be fresh and amazing. And I love that about Stallings. And so I'll read this poem and then just talk a little more about why I admire it so much. The catch. Something has come between us. It will not sleep. Every night it rises like a fish out of the deep. It cries with a human voice. It aches to be fed. Every night we heave it weeping into our bed. With its heavy head lolled back, its limbs hanging down, like a mer-creature fetched up from the weeds of the drowned. Damp in the tidal dark, it whimpers, tossing the cover, separating husband from wife, lover from lover. It settles in the interstice, it spreads out its arms, while its cool underwater face sharpens and warms. This is the third thing that makes father and mother, the fierce love of our fashioning that will have no brother. Mm. I love it. This poem is kind of like a riddle. I think I'm a little slow in the uptake. I had to read it about 4 or 5 times until I realized she's really talking about a baby. I think. And I love that the baby is not sentimentalized in any way, shape, or form. Now, I do not have any children, so I cannot speak to, uh, late night slash early morning child care duties. But from what I hear, it's not always sunshine and roses. Um, and this poem gets at that. I love that it does not sentimentalize. In fact, it makes strange and fresh and really thoughtful and fun ways. Damp in the tidal dark, it whimpers, tossing the cover, separating husband from wife, lover from lover. So this is, the real dark side, but real side of raising a child, and it's beautifully done. I talked earlier just before reading the poem about the fact that I think some poets in contemporary poetry feel like, oh, you can't rhyme anymore, and this poem obviously says to that, for forget it. It's a lie to say you can't write a fresh, innovative, thoughtful poem that rhymes and it has traditional meter. So brava, A.E. Stallings. Love this poem. um and it's a short poem, so why not read it again? So thank you, A.E. Stallings. Thank you to my students for bringing this poem to my attention. The catch. Something has come between us. It will not sleep. Every night it rises like a fish out of the deep. It cries with a human voice. It aches to be fed. Every night we heave it, weeping, into our bed. With its heavy head lolled back, its limbs hanging down, like a mer-creature fetched up from the weeds of the drowned. Damp in the tidal dark, it whimpers, tossing the cover, separating husband from wife, lover from lover. It settles in the interstice. It spreads out its arms, while its cool underwater face sharpens and warms. This is the third thing that makes father and mother, the fierce love of our fashioning that will have no brother. Thank you, A.E. Stallings. Thanks to my students, and thank you all. Hope you have a good rest of your day.